welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to be cutting through the hype to map the deeply integrated technological ecosystem of our digital future, and we're doing it using hard, empirical data. Through a really comprehensive text analysis of Web of Science literature, we're going to redefine the metaverse, not as some wild, speculative concept, but as a complex, distributed architecture where artificial intelligence actually acts as the anchor of stable freedom.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the research foundation, dive into the 10 core technology elements, map out the ecosystem structure, look at AI as the coordinating anchor, talk about designing for stable freedom, and then wrap up with a human-centered conclusion.
All right, Section 1, Research Foundation. We're calling this Mapping the Semantic Convergence.
To really grasp this, we have to ground our understanding in rigorous, peer-reviewed science. Consider the sheer volume of data here. 128,858 academic papers from the Web of Science core collection were analyzed. And with a staggering 31% average annual growth rate, the global academic community is clearly recognizing this technological convergence as a very real, tangible paradigm shift. It's honestly fascinating to track how this literature has evolved chronologically. The technical roots actually go way back to 1987, but the term metaverse didn't really emerge as an academic hub until around 2010. Then, a massive pivot happened in 2018. Research suddenly expanded way beyond just computer science, branching into 175 different subject categories. Disciplines like medicine, education, and sociology started applying these concepts, eventually peaking in 2022 to represent 18% of the entire historical corpus. So we've shifted from just building these tools to actually applying them to really complex human problems.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 10 core technology elements, or the foundational pillars.
Now, what's super interesting here is that the research defines the metaverse not as a single app, but as a fusion of mature capabilities. By analyzing author keywords across thousands of papers, researchers identified 10 distinct pillars grouped into functional clusters. For the visual experience, you've got immersive interfaces, your VR, AR, and MR. Then, to establish trust, the virtual economy relies on blockchain, smart contracts, and security protocols. Physical-digital integration is handled through digital twins and the Internet of Things. And finally, intelligence and simulation are powered by AI and simulation tech. These are absolutely the mandatory building blocks if we want to create a persistent digital reality.
Which brings us to Section 3, Distributed Technology Ecosystem Structure, effectively the interoperable internet. When you take that list of technologies and start connecting the dots, you reveal this incredible architecture of convergence. The metaverse is really a higher-level concept. These technologies function interdependently. They form an interoperable internet where hardware connects, trust is secured, and immersive environments render all at the exact same time. But here's the catch. With a distributed ecosystem this incredibly complex, how do all these disparate nodes talk to each other without the whole system just collapsing?
That leaves us perfectly into Section 4, AI as the coordinating anchor, the central hub. To prevent total fragmentation, the system desperately needs a coordinating mechanism. Researchers used this network science metric called eigenvector centrality. It sounds a little intimidating, but it basically just measures a node's influence based on its connectivity to other highly influential nodes. It highlights the critical structural bridges. And the bibliometric data clearly proves that artificial intelligence possesses the highest system-wide influence. It acts as the fundamental connector node for the entire ecosystem.
Structurally speaking, AI does not step in to dominate or replace the other technologies. Instead, think of it as an architectural bridge. It operates as the gentle gravitational core. It's the intelligence layer translating data so that your XR headset and your decentralized blockchain wallet can securely communicate in milliseconds. It's what allows a digital twin of a hospital to instantly respond to physical IoT sensors. Without AI anchoring the whole thing, we're just left with a bunch of isolated tools.
Section 5, Designing for Stable Freedom and the Governance of this Interoperable Reality.
Because this tech is integrating into really high-stakes human environments, like medical rehabilitation or collaborative education, we face a massive choice regarding control. On one hand, you have mechanical force. That's using this interconnected system for domination, rigid algorithmic optimization, and excessive data extraction. It's the dystopian route. On the flip side, the scholarly literature points toward authentic control. This means using the technology to foster meaningful self-shaping, real human ownership, and adaptive support. We absolutely must reject mechanical force to prioritize true human agency.
To actually realize that kind of authentic control, the ecosystem has to be built around three intersecting ethical mandates to ensure protected attention. First up is privacy protection. Fully realized XR environments require intensively personal biometric data, and that data has to be fiercely secured. Second is digital safety. As digital spaces start to feel psychologically indistinguishable from physical reality, we have to architect robust protocols to protect users from manipulation. And third, moral responsibility. We need to clearly define the ethical duties and liabilities of both creators and participants.
And finally, Section 6, a human-centered conclusion, looking at the future of the ecosystem.
Synthesizing all this incredible data reveals one major takeaway. True architectural mastery of this ecosystem requires human wisdom just as much as technical computation. The true value of convergence only materializes when the technological hub, that AI-driven interoperability we talked about, is securely bound to human directives and ethical governance. If you have one without the other, you end up with either a chaotic array of tools or a highly efficient surveillance machine.
Which brings us to our ultimate objective: stable freedom. This is the vision of a coherent technological ecosystem that preserves your human agency and protected attention while effortlessly coordinating massively complex systems. It utilizes AI not as an instrument of top-down domination, but as an anchor of interoperability. So the crucial question we are left with today is this: as this digital frontier continues to expand, are we going to passively let technological mechanics dictate our future, or are we going to demand the rigorous ethical architecture necessary to secure our own stable freedom? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.